This is the Samsung Q70T. We're doing a review of the TV. I often get a lot of questions on what model of TV I'm using. Strangely enough, most of them actually ask what monitor I'm using. But no, for my 4K 120Hz gaming, I am using the Samsung Q70T. And yes, I've also read a number of online reviews where there are some complaints in regards to the fact that it doesn't have local dimming. But I think this is actually a really great TV. It's definitely the most affordable and, quality-wise 120 hertz option out there on the market. So we're going to be going over the details from a gaming and also a movie perspective because I am a huge fan of film and various movies and TV shows. I watch a lot of content, whether that's streamed or native content through a 4K Blu-ray disc. So let's jump into this and talk about the general TV. So when we look at this, obviously the biggest thing for me, because I needed to upgrade my TV, this is actually one I own. I purchased this. I spent a lot of time playing it. I also have a lot of experience with the LG line, the LG CX, which is really great. But we're talking about the Samsung Q70T, which is really good for gaming, being an affordable option in that field. So with the next generation of gaming, the Xbox Series X, the PS5, we need 4K, we need 120 hertz because we want to play at 120 FPS. So a big thing a lot of people don't know when they go to buy a TV is what True Motion is. So this is considered True Motion 240. You don't want True Motion 120 because that might make you think that it's 120 hertz, but it is not. So this is capable. It has one HDMI 2.1 port, which is what you need for that next generation gaming. The VRR, the AMD FreeSync. So you have one port like that. There's 4 HDMI ports in total, 2 USB ports that are available, and a number of other ports, fairly standard things for plugging in stuff. It does support Dolby Atmos only through the eARC, just so you are aware of that. There is no Dolby Vision support. And while, those are some features I would like, for me, the important element of this was so that I could play my 120 hertz games in order to review and talk about that type of content, because that's a really big part of next-gen gaming. Now, for 4K gaming, it's quite lovely. It looks really good. I think the picture quality is decent. The HDR quality is pretty good, too. I quite like it, even in cross films. Usually I use things such as La La Land is a very good indicator of HDR quality, and I think it looked pretty good. It definitely handled it a lot better than my past TV. So I will note, while this is really great when you're kind of head-on, kind of a little bit to the side, the viewing angles, you get further away, it looks a little bit more washed out, just so that you are aware of that element of the actual TV. I will also note that the weight of the TV, with or without the stand, is like 49.2 and 49.8, so it's right about the same. The stand is these little tiny legs you kind of put at the bottom. They do hold it fine. I did have to get a new stand, so I had to redo my entire setup in order to accompany the TV, because this is a 65-inch model. It does have a number of other options, whether you want smaller or larger. Entirely up to you and your budget and your price range. I myself actually thought maybe I could have actually went a little bit bigger with the TV size. Again, completely up to you and what your budget is when you're looking at this TV. And again, this is a very affordable option. So when you are looking at it, it's got a fairly small bezel. I do quite notice it while playing, but not to the degree of past TVs where the bezel has been significantly larger. I still think we have a ways to go with bezels in regards to really removing them entirely from our viewing experience. I'm sure at some point we'll get there. A number of the newer lines from, the higher end lines have gotten really close to that, and I think we're almost there for TVs, but the bezel's quite small. This is very much a plastic-based TV, but you wouldn't really necessarily, you can see it when you look at it, but you wouldn't necessarily feel the effect of that when you're actually looking at the screen. It looks like a very quality showcase. It does present itself quite nice. It's nice and loud. It's filling the room as well. If you want to do a soundbar pairing, obviously you can go up for the Dolby Atmos, which would be great. Again, entirely up to you. Now, we will talk about the WebOS from a different angle, so you can enjoy and see what that looks like, because I think that aspect of the experience is also important, because this is a smart TV. While I do use the Xbox for most of my viewing, of course, a number of apps are available through the SmartOS operating system setup. Alright, so now we're going to be diving into the menu and the OS option. So when you click the home button, it will open up your WebOS. You can also just click in the middle here in order to get information, such as if your game is running with HDR, if it's running in 4K UHD, to see that the FreeSync VRR is actually running with the input, which is fantastic. But yeah, we can click in here on the mouse, like we showed before, that mutes up, down, just so we have a quick double up on that. So this is the WebOS option. So we have ads that you can't turn off. I think that's a little ridiculous. There's no option. You have to actually do some networking things in order to deal with that. It has Apple Music, which is fantastic. Over the holidays, I spent a ton of time playing music through Apple Music. I thought it was a generally fantastic option to have that. There's the Samsung TV Plus. Obviously, we've got our Netflix, our Prime Video, Apple TV, Spotify, YouTube, Samsung Health, SmartThings, Internet Alexa, and then Xbox shows up as an app, which is kind of interesting, and you can reorganize this. There's also the Ambient Mode, which is kind of cool, and of course you can get more apps, such as like I have Disney Plus here, BritBox, Crave, and I think they get the main ones, you know, in regards to that. And there's the search feature, you can change your sources, and of course we have settings in order to further adjust things, and then there's expert settings if you want to change up the picture a little bit further. And I always like to show this just in case you're wondering what kind of settings. There's also a film mode, which is quite nice. I mean, it really does allow the original creator's film style to come alive. I think that's really awesome. And yes, we will be showing off games and stuff like that too, so you can see what that is like in action, software updates, and then the terms and services and everything like that, which are, I think, fairly standard on TVs nowadays. So this is the ambient mode. There's a lot of different options, a lot of different decor. I hope we don't get any sort of issues because I'm showing this, but anyways, it's just kind of a nice, relaxing, kind of easygoing thing, and you can do different routine setups and everything like that. It's a nice little option to have. Great. Now on to further content. So this does actually include a 4K upscaling if you do have lower end quality things such as like 720p or, you know, really old low 1080p at a lower quality. This does a really good job of upscaling. I was fairly impressed with that as regards to different video qualities from different video feeds that I have sitting there that I use for testing stuff. I was decently impressed with that. And yeah, it was generally fine. There is also like ThinQ, so you can have a number of voice assistants. Google Assistant, you can have Alexa, or you can also have Bixby, which is the Samsung voice option. I have Alexa set up. Alexa, open YouTube. Getting YouTube from Samsung. You know, do whatever you want. They all work pretty fine. You know, it's just really preference at that point. I also want to go back to talking about gaming. In general, I played a number of games on this. I was doing Halo: The Master Chief Collection, which does 4K 120. I was also doing Call of Duty Warzone. I was also doing Black Ops Cold War. You know, a number of these 120 Hz games, which look absolutely fantastic and speedy. So this does have a game mode, which is what you need to get to that level of quality. You'll definitely see in the top. You're able to see kind of the hertz, you know, how it's kind of syncing and everything like that. It does handle it quite well. You get ALM, which is an auto low latency mode, which is also fantastic, you know, kind of an addition onto that, just so you get that low latency, fast response, which is important because next gen gaming is all about speed, quality, and efficiency when you want to be getting that competitive edge when you are playing matches. I will also note that at times the HDMI kind of doesn't seem to recognize the Xbox. I don't know if that's a TV thing. I think it might be. I unplug it, I plug it back in, it's good. That always seems to happen at the dashboard. So usually when I leave a game, because it switches in and out of game mode based on what I'm doing, it's usually when I leave a game to go to the dashboard after I've turned a game off. So it's not something that's popping up during gameplay. I've never had an issue where the HDMI, you know, did that sort of disconnect thing. Never during gameplay. I just want to get that across. I just thought it was something I should mention in case you are wondering, but I never saw it show up during matches or anything like that. Once the game was quit, sometimes it would show up, and I just wanted to mention that aspect of the game mode. But other than that, it plays beautifully fine. The games look incredibly great. We also got titles like Gears 5, looks just phenomenal. You know, I've played a lot of games recently through the Series X, taking a look at like really old games through backwards compatibility and brand new ones that are optimized for the next generation, and they look fantastic. Also, movies look really great. I've got things like Joker. Obviously, we mentioned La La Land. Some of the Marvel films, Thor Ragnarok is always a great test. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Always like to showcase that one because it is gorgeous. It really cinematically, it is quite beautiful to look at. So that's always a good test. Also, Jurassic Park in 4K is quite nice as well. And again, these are kind of tests. And then there's a lot of stream content I've been watching through Netflix with the 4K. I watched also a lot of Disney Plus, The Mandalorian. I've been watching through this just so you get a wide range of different options. Obviously, I'm Canadian, so we don't have HBO Max, so I can't test that out. We do have Crave. You know, it's okay, fine there, but we're not getting the same quality that we would from like Disney Plus or Netflix. So that's why I'm trying to give a wide range of streaming options and details in that regard so that you are aware. So I also want to talk about the remote. So this is another one of those kind of seamless, easygoing, minimalistic remotes. I love them from Samsung. I think they're fantastic. I hate the bulky, over-the-top crazy remotes where there's too many buttons. It's nice, it's seamless. You've got your commands, so you go up and down. You got buttons muting, clicking in and out in order to like mute, or up and down in order to change the volume. Very easygoing, very easy to understand. I do kind of not really like the fact that it has a Netflix, a Prime, and a Samsung TV Plus button on them. I keep accidentally clicking Netflix when I'm going to like mute or adjust the volume. Kind of a little annoying. You do have the talk with the AI assistants on it. I think it's a really great remote. I like it. It's a shame we don't have the newer remotes, which are going to be like USB powered, but that's down the line from this current point in time. But yeah, anyways, in general, I think this is a really solid TV option. It's good quality. It does what I need it to when it comes to gaming. I think it hits the mark. It's something that I have enjoyed using. I will note that it is very hard to get, I guess you could say, content onto the TV in regards to over my local network. I like how the LG kind of TVs are able to take stuff from my computer, from my network, and kind of play it there. This I have to like actually bring stuff over, like via USB. So that could be a little bit better. To summarize, I'm quite happy with the Samsung Q70T. I think it gets the job done. I've been very happy with its performance, its quality, and the features that it presents, because they are the next-gen features I need to work and get my job done. And it's also at a very good price point, I think, for what it provides. And I think it's very fair in what it offers in that regard. And yeah, that's about it. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. You can read my full review in the description below. Of course, if you do have any questions about the TV, let me know. Liking the video is great, and subscribing would be cool as well.